welcome. It's just me and Kaija today.
Yes, sir.
Because Zach had to go get some play.
Yep.
So, okay, I want to start
Zach's
off.
a little wet tonight. So
You know Gnarls Barkley and stuff, right?
I've heard, yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you know this, but it took me way long to figure out that Gnarls Barkley is CeeLo Green.
You didn't know that?
I knew it a little bit ago, but it took me way too fucking long. Did you figure it out just like off the rib?
Kind of, yeah. There's things like that where I don't figure it out though, so I'm not like saying that wasn't a valid thing.
Well, that's the thing is like his voice is so unique that I should have been able to put it together because my parents listened to like Gnarls Barkley a ton, and then there was like "Fuck You" that was on the radio and shit all the time, and I just didn't fucking put it together.
So when did you?
And then I was listening to Crazy, like a few months ago, and I was like, wait, this is CeeLo Green.
And it says Gnarls Barkley.
Yeah, and I thought they were two different people for so long.
That's actually funny, man.
I don't know why.
No, I'm trying to think because I've had plenty of stuff like that where I like don't pick up on it or. I'm trying to think though. I just can't think of any right now.
Well, another one for me was like NSYNC and Justin Timberlake. I didn't know Justin Timberlake was in NSYNC.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
You didn't know that one?
Uh-uh.
Really?
Bring that to mind.
Well, do you listen to NSYNC at all? Have you listened?
I listened to more so Justin
Bye.
Timberlake more than NSYNC, I'd say.
You know, Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell. That's like another one. It's not as much as like Gnarls Barkley and CeeLo Green, but you can tell that Justin Timberlake's in it. I think it's NSYNC.
Oh, Tara Reid. I didn't know that he was, what's his name at first?
Getter.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was Getter at first.
Well, that one.
But then again, Getter doesn't.
Yeah, Getter doesn't
sing.
do anything except for the beat.
That's true.
What's another one? There's a few, and it's usually just like they went from a group to solo, and you just didn't know they were in that group.
Remix their name or something, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so you told me earlier, you just found out that Santa wasn't real. You just realized.
Yeah, I just.
What age?
Well, probably like. I want to say like 11 or 12. Probably 10 or 11 or 12 in there, I'd say.
So
no later than 12, I'd say.
How'd you figure it out? You're just like, oh, this isn't possible? Or?
I just figured out, I just started seeing that my dad's handwriting was the exact same as Santa's, basically. And my dad's handwriting is very like straight lines, like
right.
Everything has to be perfect.
We're talking about Blake, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He writes his
obviously.
Yeah, he writes his like shit very, very like punctual, if that makes sense. But,
okay. Like straight edge.
Yep.
Okay, well, my parents did a good job, and I wouldn't have figured out for a while because they had like special wrapping paper that they would hide, and they would make
Santa's wrapping paper.
Yeah, and they would also like write from Santa, but it wouldn't be in their handwriting. They'd make sure it looked a little different. But my fucking uncle one day, me and my sisters were sitting in the front room talking about Santa. I think I was like 7 or 8.
Your uncle? Oh no, did he ruin it for you?
He was pissed. He was in a bad mood for one reason or another. I'd never found out why. I'd have to ask my mom. He came in when we were talking about Santa. He goes, "You guys know Santa's not real, right?"
So he just blew it. He just blew it for you.
Just fucking while we're talking about Santa, he was fucking pissed. He just comes in. He goes, "You guys know he's not real, right?" And I'm like, "Okay."
Sadly, that's how a lot of kids do find out. Just people like that.
He was pissed. I don't know what he was pissed about, but I remember my mom, like, I asked her, like, why he did that, and she's like, I don't know. He was pissed, and I'm like, so he just decided to like ruin my hopes and dreams.
Were you like, you were one of those kids that like started crying after it, right?
I was upset for sure, but I didn't cry.
Yeah. Okay, like kids that start like bawling because they find out that Santa's
I started
not real.
thinking, I was like, yo, I could pick my nose and shit now, and I'll still get presents from Santa.
Yeah, Santa's not always watching, literally.
No, but yeah, and I remember, and they always kept the lights off because there was a few times also where I would wake up and go to see if I could see Santa. And, because I was a dumbass kid, I couldn't tell by like body type or anything, whether it was my mom or my dad, but the lights were off, so I couldn't see them. And they did wear a Santa hat.
While they were like doing their shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my uncle just decided to be like, they put all this. And we also had I forgot about this. My parents used to do like a week before Christmas. They would do a Christmas party, and there was a Santa dude that they had come to the house, and so I was like, "This is Santa."
Probably the same dude every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um.
Did your family do the thing where they like the elves came and they dropped off pajamas the night before?
No, my parents would just buy us pajamas.
Pajamas, yeah.
Yeah. That they didn't do the whole elf deal. But yeah, like they had Santa come, and even all like the other cousins would come over and shit, and it was super expensive, and they would get catering and food shit and whatever. So they put in a lot of effort to be like, yo, Santa's the real. He's fucking
No,
pulling up
yeah.
to our house.
See, like I feel like my parents they did do a good effort, but then I feel like I don't know if it was like one night because like I didn't realize it from like the things on the presents that said from Santa. Like they always, like you said, did different handwriting for that.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever like when like you write a little letter to Santa and then like you leave cookies and shit and whatnot, that's when I figured it out because my dad wrote back in his handwriting,
Oh,
and I was like, "What the hell is this?" So he might have just slipped up, or he might have done it on purpose to like make me catch on, or like
yeah. So he's like, this guy's old enough. He needs to fucking figure it out.
yeah, he might. I don't know. Yeah.
But did you do the carrots too for the reindeer?
Yeah.
I don't know who did what, but they would only take like a couple bites out of each of them.
Yeah, the parents were just like,
They're like, I don't want to fucking
carrot,
eat this shit.
fucking raw carrot.
We did sugar cookies with frosting.
Okay.
What did you do?
Just just whatever the fuck we wanted that year. It wasn't like, oh, like a tradition. We're gonna do the same. Did you do like the same cookie every
Well,
year?
because we would like roll out the dough and everything, and we had these cookie cutter shapes with the Christmas tree and shit like that.
Oh, so it was like a tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that makes sense. But no, we just did like Pillsbury or whatever the fuck.
But also, I don't want to shame any of the parents out there for not putting in effort. For the record, my parents at the time were fairly wealthy and
Yeah.
didn't have to work all that much. So, because my dad was a real estate agent, and then he went into tech. Unless, I don't know, maybe I'm getting the timeline mixed up because my dad and my mom listen to this, so maybe they're like, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. But I was also a child. But yeah, they put in a lot of effort for it, and then my uncle just had to come in and fucking ruin it.
Was that the uncle on your dad's side?
No, it was my mom's side.
Did I ever? I feel like I met your mom's side. Did I meet him?
It was Damon, the bigger guy.
See, I heard the name, but I don't know if I ever met him.
He did bodybuilding and stuff, and he was in like this movie called Cyborg X.
Huh.
And it has like the movie wasn't like high production, but it had this one dude as a pretty big name actor. He's always got long hair, and he's like older, kind of Indian looking. I don't know if this is gonna help. Like Native American, not Indian. Here, I'll just search it up. I'll fucking pull. I'll get his name.
I was gonna say
He was when he was doing bodybuilding, he was like an extra in it, and he was like a bad guy.
Oh, real quick. When we went camping that one time, was that your mom's side or your dad's side? Do you remember when we went camping? We got like those peace teas and shit, and we were like, I think we spent we might not even spend a night up there. I think we might have just went up. No, because your dad brought a trailer up there. You don't remember when we went camping and we brought peace teas and we were like,
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think it was my mom's side of the family.
okay. So I probably did meet him then. Was he there?
I don't know. I don't know if he would have been there.
Oh,
Danny Trejo.
let me see
This
him.
guy.
Let me see him.
He was the main character in it.
Oh yeah, show the audience. This dude, Danny Trejo.
This guy, if you can see that.
That dude. I don't know.
Yeah, here, let me pull up Cyborg X. There's a picture of him in like full costume and shit. It's pretty cool. I wonder if he's in the cast, Damon Wilder. Let's see. No, he's not. Because he was like, he was like a small role. But
Like an extra type.
yeah, he was doing bodybuilding at the time. And I don't know. I guess he was trying to find acting gigs at the same time. I didn't know about that, but
Did he do any other movies besides that one?
no, it was just that.
Oh. Dude, I have a freaking. Speaking of like actors, I have a.
I mean, this actually might be him.
Really?
Maybe not. But he was one of these dudes. I don't know. They all kind of look similar, so maybe it's not him, but could be because it looks exactly the same as the picture I saw of him. Where did it go? What the fuck? What the fuck? I just had it. Sorry, give me a second.
No, you're good. But fucking, oh, that was what I was gonna say. On my dad's side, on Blake's side, like, mind you, I'm not like actually like biologically related to any of them, but like I've like kind of pretty much grown up around them.
One of these dudes. He was one of these dudes.
Oh yeah, okay.
Let me show the audience.
But you probably wouldn't like be able to see his face. That
If you can see that.
I'm gonna have to look at that. When
Yeah, but that's the guy that ruined Christmas for me. Long story short.
He was dressed up like that and
He
everything.
came into my house dressed up like that with blood all over him, and he goes, with like the, Santa's not real, right?
The Bane mask on
Yeah.
and everything.
Fucking whatever, man. I don't know. I don't even fuck with Christmas anymore. I don't know about you.
Just like you talking about the vibe of it, just everything.
I don't know. I don't care about presents anymore since I'm not a fucking child,
Yeah.
and I don't want to buy people presents. You know?
No, for sure. I've like, yeah. No, I feel the same way. Definitely.
It's expensive. Half the fucking time, the presents that people get, they barely even like them, you know?
Half the time, yeah, they're collecting dust. You don't know what to get that person, so you get them something that they're not going to use, yeah.
It's,
Or that they're going to eat. It's like you're getting them like candy, basically. I don't know.
and, you know, not to go full fucking whatever this is called, but everybody's like, Christmas has just become a consumerism thing. You know, like, where they're like, oh, buy shit for people.
Right, yeah.
Which is true, but, like, you know, you could also just not do presents and just celebrate family or whatever.
Yeah.
Or
See, that's
religion.
That's what we've been doing. We really haven't been doing presents for the past years. We've just been like going on like family vacations for that year, basically calling it a Christmas gift.
Well,
unquote.
bro, here's the problem with my family. It's not necessarily a problem because it's not like a horrible thing, but like my sisters, my mom, my dad even, they're just like, because I'm like, let's just not do gifts, you know, because like none of us have money, so, and you know, we're all adults. But all of my sisters, my mom and my dad, they're like, oh, well, I'll just get you a present. You don't have to give me anything. But then it's like everybody's buying me presents,
Yeah,
and
no,
I'm
yeah.
not giving anybody presents.
I see what you're
You know
saying.
what I'm saying?
For sure, yeah. That
You know,
that
and they're
part's
like,
kind
it's
of
fine.
fucked.
They're like, you know, you don't have to do it. I'm like, I know I don't have to, but I'll look like a fucking ass.
I look like an imbecile if I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also not like how you'll look. It's like genuinely like, hey, well, if you get me something, then yeah, I want to get you something too.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah. Because it's like you're giving me a present, and I'm like, I don't have anything for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's fucking. It's just whatever, man. You know. If I had money, I'd be buying presents all the fucking time. I'd just be buying people shit. You remember back in high school when we worked there at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Mm-hmm.
There was one time I posted on my Snapchat story. I'm like, first one to swipe up on this, I'll give them $50.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have to fucking pay for anything, and that paid pretty good for like a high school job.
Uh-huh.
You know, like I'm willing to give money if I don't have to pay for shit or presents, but I don't have money, so I don't want to.
It's not like that you don't have money either. It's like, okay, well, my money's going to more important things than like that, I guess, for the time.
Well, dude, I'm getting paid more than twice as much as I was at Buffalo Wild Wings right now, and I'm just like, I have no money.
Yeah.
Partially because I have to actually pay for shit now, but also because everything is expensive as shit.
It's not even stopping either, bro.
It just keeps going.
It's not gonna stop. Yeah.
It just keeps going, and I'm just like, fucking, maybe I'll just be homeless.
Honestly, and like that's why, like when I was a kid, I was like, okay, well, like these homeless, get them out of here. They're ugly. But now it's like I kind of like can see how they've like misstepped to get to that place, but also some of them just like give up along the way. You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah, there's definitely some of them, and I have to fucking deal with them in my job, where I'm like, I hope, this is gonna sound I hope you die because you're worthless.
Just the way they treat you and the way they act.
Yeah, they act like a jackass, and they're obviously of their own doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I don't wish death upon them, but it's just like, dude, you're the bane of my existence right now.
And to play devil's advocate, they're probably so fucked up they're not even conscious of how they're acting. So it's not like that's who they are, but that's who they're coming off as because of
or who they've become.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they were probably a normal person. They probably have had people that loved him at one point. Because I've seen videos on TikTok and stuff. There was this one that I saw about a mom posting about her daughter. And she goes, after this many years, I'm finally letting go of my daughter, you know, trying to, because she was taking care of her, trying to put her through rehab and stuff to keep her off of the street. And she just kept going back and doing drugs. And she's like, I'm done.
That's how. Yeah.
And
Literally.
those type of people, they're just like, okay, why do you even care to be alive at this point?
Yeah.
You know, your family's given up on you. You're barely conscious.
It's really sad for sure.
You know,
That's literally like what's the show called? It was on A&E. Intervention.
I've never seen it.
You never seen Intervention? It's basically just like how you described, like one of their kids or like sons or daughters or grandkids is deeply addicted to like meth or like fucking inhalants or something or like paint or something, and they pretty much just like try to do an intervention for them. Half the time they walk out and they like don't do the intervention. Half the time they're like, yeah, I'll go, and then they actually do it. But like, it's a good show. You should check it out.
I mean, the reality of it is sad, but a lot of these people did have chances and they didn't take them.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, it's fully on you.
That's true. No, I agree with that.
And I just like the part that bothers me is like, at least most of the ones that I've seen, I'm like, either your life has been so goddamn horrible that you don't have family at this point. And that's why you ended up here, because it's like, who gives a fuck? No one cares about me. I'll just do whatever I want.
Do my own thing. Yeah.
And then they ended up on the street. But, or like your family was giving you chances and now they don't care anymore. There was one guy actually that I saw pretty consistently. He was a homeless dude. And I know where his parents lived, and he would use our scooters, and so we would leave it there for him, because he was like, at the time he was trying to go to work and stuff. All of a sudden, when I would go back over there, it was happening right then. I was working. I was riding with one of my coworkers that also knew him, and he goes, "My parents are kicking me out." He was obviously fucked up on something.
Right.
He's like, I really need this scooter." I'm like, "Yeah, man, we're not gonna take it." And it was like, wow, you know what? And it was sad, but I'm like, I don't feel bad for you. Like, they were making an effort. You had a job. What the fuck happened?
Yeah.
That's it was within a month too.
That's what I've learned too. It's like, no matter how hard people try for you, if you don't make that decision to do it yourself, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to see any improvement or like anything, because you're not physically putting yourself and like implying or like putting yourself to do it. You know what I mean? It has to be done by you. You can't like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that goes for literally everything in your life.
Yeah.
As hard, it's way easier said than done, obviously, but. And this isn't that, this is kind of off topic a little bit, but the same sort of thing happens with, like with cancer, because you say like a lot of people, they have a cancer that is considered not survivable. So when you search up, it's like, oh, how long can I live, or can I get rid of this cancer? They do it in how much longer you can live, not how long until you get rid of it, or the odds of you getting rid of it. But there's people that fully get rid of this cancer.
Right.
But it's so few and far between that they don't even do a statistic on getting rid of the cancer. But it comes down a lot of the time to mentality. As stupid as that fucking sounds, are people like, well, you just might get unlucky with the treatment or something. No, I mean, most problems that you have with yourself can be fixed, and the hard part is being determined to do so.
The way your mentality, the way you think about it, yeah.
And it's sad to say that, because like people die of cancer all the time. Cancer is a big deal. But you hear it so often if you talk to people that have had family members die of cancer. So many of them go, they gave up, or it felt like they gave up. You know what I'm saying? And Dad, forgive me if I'm wrong, and I'm not going to bring up. So my dad's brother had cancer and he died from it. And I'm pretty sure, I was younger, and I don't want to misquote, because I know he's going to listen to this, and I don't want him to, get upset with me.
Yeah.
But he was like, it felt like he didn't care, and it felt like he was just giving up and letting it happen. And people do that, and they will die from it.
And at that, because you literally like trick your brain into thinking that that's it, basically.
Well, and that's what I keep telling my mom too. And I'm like, you're fortunate enough, obviously not to have cancer, obviously, but it's in your brain, which is the part that controls literally everything in your body. So if you're just like, well, I'm going to beat it, and I'm going to do everything to beat it, and it'll go away. You're shortening the distance between your brain thinking that and actually acting on it because it's in your brain, and your brain's like, okay, yeah, because your body has the ability to fight cancer. Everybody's had cancer at some point in their life,
Yeah.
and your body fights it off. So if you let things happen to you, they're just gonna kill you. There's people that get really mild cancers, really treatable cancers that die from them.
Yeah.
Any cancer you get, it's not like, well, we'll just see what happens.
I'll just croak over and die.
Yeah. You know, we'll have to bleep this out, right? You remember him?
Yeah.
His mom had breast cancer twice,
And she got through it
and
both times?
she didn't do the surgery either.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, she beat it both times, and she would go mountain biking all the time. Going through chemotherapy, she would still go mountain biking all the time, which is fucking hard. You know, I don't know if you've had someone close go through chemotherapy or radiation, and that shit just like, it's really fucking hard for anybody to even just get out of bed when they do chemo and shit.
Oh, so she's going through chemo.
And she was going mountain biking, and she was just being active and being like, yeah, we're gonna, get through it. And she got through it twice. Breast cancer also, obviously, because there's so many fundraisers for it, is one that you just do not fuck with, because it kills people and it metastasizes so quick. And as far as what I've heard, obviously, like we've been talking, there's cases where people beat cancer after it metastasizes and shit, if they're determined. But when cancer metastasizes, most people are just like, yeah, you're fucked. Hopefully you have a couple of months. Doesn't matter where it goes. They
And
just say you're
even
fucked.
them telling you that brings you down to that level of like not feeling like you really want to step up to the plate and like put in that, like you said, like your mentality. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
That's also a huge fucking problem with the medical industry, because doctors don't want to get sued. So they always are negative, because they don't want to go, oh yeah, you'll beat it, and then you don't beat it, and then you can go, I'm going to sue you
Right.
because you said I could beat it and you're the one treating me,
Yeah.
That's been a huge problem with, some of my mom's friends, some of her siblings and stuff, when they come to the appointments of the doctor talking about her cancer. Because even we'll get good news. Like the last MRI, it was good news. And then he goes, by the way, I just want to remind you that this is something that we can't get rid of. And it's like, why don't you just leave it at the good news? We can't sue you
Yeah. Why don't you just
for
fuck
saying
off?
that this was a good MRI.
Yeah.
And that's a huge problem. Like, when you have cancer, unless you get rid of it, you're not going to hear full-on good news. You might get good news, but it'll immediately come back with, yeah, but it's really aggressive, whatever.
What's following it?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
because negativity has a huge impact. They say stress can cause cancer. There's links to it. What's the word? Correlated to the progression of cancer, correlated to the development of cancer.
Right.
And obviously, if your doctor's saying, yeah, you're going to fucking die from cancer, you're going to be stressed. And it takes a lot more.
Pretty much like psyching yourself out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my mom's been pretty good with not being stressed, actually, which kind of surprised me.
That's good though.
Yeah, like, stress, being motivating, being determined to beat it, you're more likely to beat it. I'm not saying that it's like a surefire way to beat it. But if you listen to like the TED Talks and shit, every single one of them has the same message. I've watched a lot, to keep my hopes up at the beginning of this whole thing.
Right.
It's always never give up, even if they're like, we have no more treatments for you. Most of these people with TED, like, there was one girl, she had a glioblastoma. When you get a glioblastoma, it's basically signing a death certificate.
Where's that located?
It's a brain tumor.
Oh, okay.
And it's just so aggressive that they'll do. This is the measurement for a glioblastoma, by the way. Because, like I said before, aggressive cancers aren't measured in how long until you get rid of it. Chances of getting rid of it, it's percentages of how long you can live with it.
Right.
Glioblastoma says if you do chemo and radiation, it's like, I think, a 30% chance of living 2 months.
Afterwards.
Yeah. And there was a TED Talk, a girl that had one, and she got rid of it. Or maybe not fully, but it was undetectable, meaning it's in remission. When they say in remission, because it doesn't mean that you don't have any cancer, it just means that they can't see it based on scans and stuff. And she was like, yeah, I didn't even do treatment. I just lived my life as normal. I was determined that it would go away, and I didn't give up, and I tried alternative medicine. I did acupuncture. I did whatever. We did an MRI later, because with glioblastomas, they don't even do MRIs.
Because it's sensitive?
Because they're just like, yeah, it's going to kill you.
It's just that bad.
Yeah. Most of the time, they don't even do an MRI. They might if you request it, but they're not going to automatically schedule them. Like in my mom's case.
That makes sense.
She does it every so often. But did an MRI, and it had shrunk like by a third. And she wasn't doing treatment.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, it's crazy. Like, people always are like, oh, pseudoscience. But no, like, a lot of the success stories, against the odds, it's always just, like, mindset and shit.
Right.
It's crazy how much you can do just based off of yourself.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I'm going to say something, but I'm not going to say it's a true fact, because I don't think, think I've heard this. I'm pretty sure I've heard this somewhere, but I don't want to, like, say it's a fact. Just to not say that. But most cancers are fueled from, like, excessive amounts of, like, sugar and shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Sugar and protein are the top two.
Right. So if you don't, like, if you go on a strict diet of, like, just no sugar, zero sugar diet, but, like, also it can't just be like, okay, you're filling your diet with, like, fake sugars to like suffice that. It's just like you have to eat really healthy, cut, like, most, like, fake sugars out. Like, you can keep, like, fruits and, like,
fruits are fine.
Shit that has, like, actual
natural
sugar. Yeah, but, like, I've heard, like, people that get cancer or that develop cancer go on, like, most of the time when they go on, like, sugar-free diets or, like, really strict diets that have nothing, like, have most to do with, like, I can't, like, consume most of the sugar, then it does end up, like, regressing and, like, getting better in the long run.
Yeah, and one thing I've heard is that doesn't always work, because it also depends on the cancer, because there's some cancers that will just fucking consume anything.
Right.
They'll consume each other.
Yeah.
You know, like... But it does help, because from the things I've read and stuff, it's like protein and sugar are the top two, but sugar is the worst, because it's like, there was a video I watched where he was like, for some cancers, sugar's like jet fuel. They get sugar and they're just fucking, they're going, they're dividing and whatever.
Right.
But
I think, yeah, that's probably where I was coming from with that.
And it should help at least a little bit, but In some cases, it's just like, you can do that and it'll help, but it doesn't mean it's going to keep you from dying from the cancer.
Right.
And I think the most important thing, and probably one of the hardest things, is the mindset and the determination. Because going through something like cancer is so uniquely hard to fucking be positive about. But if you're able to do that, not only to do that while you're dealing with it, but then if you were to get rid of it, you're probably going to be one of the happiest people in the world. To deal with something like cancer where you feel like you have so little control, and to maintain positivity, determination, and motivation, whatever.
It gives you a good lot of gratification.
So if you are to get rid of the cancer, you're just going to be so much better off than literally anyone else.
And how much you've learned from going through that is just, like, crazy.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Because
then you know what to, like... Not like what to not do to get it again, but, like, you know what's healthy for you more so than what's not. You know, like, you just have more of an experience with going through it and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And another thing that's important to remember, if any of you are dealing with cancer or have loved ones who have cancer, is the hardest time to maintain positivity is when you get bad news, but that's the most important time to maintain positivity. Because, you know, like I said, a lot of the TED Talks, actually every single one of the ones that I listened to, which were different cancers, they got to the point where the doctor said, you have this long to live, we have no more treatment, and then that's when they beat it. Which normally at that point is when everybody's like, okay, well, let's do the bucket list. And yeah, you can do the bucket list, but it's not... You shouldn't just go, yeah, she's going to die, because that's what the doctor says. The doctor ultimately has no fucking idea.
Right.
For being honest. They have no clue, because it's different for every person.
They don't really know what they're talking about 100%.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
no one
not
knows.
to put them on blast or anything, but...
No, put those fuckers on blast.
My mom's oncologist gave her chemo for leukemia, which is a blood cancer, which is almost the exact fucking opposite of a brain tumor.
So she gave her the wrong chemo, basically.
I talked to him about it, and he's like, "No, that's just standard procedure," and I'm like, "So what? Standard procedure is to give someone, regardless of what cancer they have, the first chemo they do is just leukemia, for leukemia."
What do you say to that?
And he's like, "Yeah, basically."
I hate when they try to like do that patronizing talk to you too, where they like kind of like lower their tone of
Oh
voice.
my
And
god,
I want to
can't
smack them.
fucking stand this
Yeah.
guy, dude.
Dude, crazy.
You know, doctors are great, you know, like, but I'm not saying it's his fucking fault. Because in all honesty, and I'm not going to get into this again, it's just like pharmacy, insurance, even the corporations that are the hospital is what led to this point, this fucking dystopian healthcare that we have. But,
No, I agree with 100% of all of what you're saying.
you know, and like a lot of people go, yeah, listen to the doctor, do exactly what they say, and they don't even try alternative medicine. Horrible fucking idea. And I probably shouldn't say this because I know that people have gotten in trouble for this. I'll just preface this by saying,
Just say allegedly, that's all you gotta say.
I'll preface this by saying, I'm not telling you how to treat your cancer or how to treat your loved one's cancer. Having said that, if you try any alternative medicine like turkey tail, you know, a whole bunch of different Eastern mushrooms, a whole bunch of shit, Eastern medicine that's supposed to be good for cancer. If you ask your doctor, if you ask your oncologist if you should take it, they will always and forever say, do not take it.
Because it goes against what they're trying to give you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and they'll claim that it decreases the efficacy of the drugs that they're giving you.
Which it doesn't.
And all of the ones I searched up, did my own research, looked at fucking medical journals and shit.
I seen the turkey tail one. You can.
Yeah, you sent me that one.
Yeah.
I can tell you with 100% certainty, there is nothing that a fucking mushroom is going to do to your body or to a drug that any of the other drugs won't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. It's not like you're mixing pills.
these are natural occurring things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they decrease the efficacy of the chemotherapy, it's so fucking minuscule that they don't even mention it in any of the medical journals. But I've asked him throughout this whole process. I can tell you 100%. If you're looking into Eastern medicine, just fucking do it. Because the doctor will never recommend it. At least that's been my experience.
No, yeah.
They will never recommend it. And even if you bring it up, they will say, don't take it or I don't recommend it.
Right.
They won't even be neutral. It will always be no. Just fucking do it anyways.
You should, because I don't know.
I'm not telling you how to treat your cancer.
Like, obviously, we're not going to dive into this whole, like, oh, they have the whole fucking cure for cancer and, like, the whole thing. But, like, I don't know, it's like, obviously, if we're this far technologically, like, there's got to be something out there that they know of that's going to help, at least, really help with the cancer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, obviously, it's in their control, and I feel like that's them telling you, like, no, don't go do your Eastern medicine, don't do that, because you want to try what we have, even though it's like what you have isn't giving. I don't know. It's like I feel like they're just fucking with us at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
And
that's how I feel. But
I just want to also clarify, I'm not saying to not do Western medicine because it does help, and in a lot of cases it does cure people's cancer, but in a lot of cases it doesn't. And actually, I think majority of cases most people don't get cured from
but
it.
when is it gonna hinder you, or like when is it gonna like make it worse? Right?
Yeah.
It's never gonna do that. I don't think, personally.
Chemo and stuff?
No, like the Eastern medicine.
Oh, Eastern medicine will for sure not make it worse. I thought you were talking about chemo because I was going to
No.
correct you and say, funnily enough, on the prescription bottle of my mom's chemo,
The
it
first
says
one that he gave.
it can cause cancer. How the fuck does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah. What the fuck?
Same with radiation, obviously, because people that are exposed to radiation get cancer. But one of the biggest things they have you do when you have a tumorous cancer is radiation,
Which
causes cancer.
Which would make it
One of the most well-known things to cause cancer.
So,
whatever.
yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying 100%. Try Eastern medicine. Yeah, I don't know, like, do other things more so than what you're just being told.
Yeah, I know. There's too many people that just put too much on whatever the doctor says.
Oh, yeah, because he knows. Like, do your own research. Fucking figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason they call it practicing medicine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as cliche as that is to say.
Right.
But,
I think it's kind of fitting that most of this podcast we have been talking about cancer, and unironically, we just kept the pink backup drop.
Oh yeah, breast cancer. That was October, but we're late.
We'll support it this month, I guess.
It was October, right? Breast cancer awareness is October.
I think so. I want to say so. I should know that.
Cancer's a hell of a thing, but yeah, dude, fully recommend looking into other things, because there's also, you might get to a point in cancer treatment where the chemo is fucking you up so bad that you shouldn't be doing it anymore.
Right.
Because it
just deteriorates you.
I don't know the statistics on this now, but not only a few decades ago, there was more people dying from the treatment than the cancer itself.
Which is crazy. Which is crazy. Yeah.
It's a poison. They're just poisoning you in the hopes that it's also poisoning the cancer.
Right. It's like fighting fire with fire, when in reality it's like, okay, well, water would be nice. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or like something new would be better, instead of just putting more on top of what I already have. Yeah.
And we can switch the subject in a second, because this has been like all cancer, but
well, I think it's fine. I think it's actually like one of the more like educational ones that we've talked about on our podcast, so I can stand behind that.
I just don't want to get heat. People get heat for this shit, but I do want to mention I've done a ton of research, because I want my mom's cancer to be fucking over with. I'm fully convinced it'll be over with at some point. I just want it to be now, right? So
of course you do, yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, Eastern countries, funnily enough, that don't use Western medicine, have lower mortality rates when it comes to cancer
than here.
Yeah. Than the Western, even like England and shit.
Western medicine.
Fucking and this is one that's crazy to me, is there's less occurrence of cancer in China per capita than the United States and Canada.
And Canada. Both combined. Like United States and Canada.
Per capita is an average of like...
Oh, so you're saying for the both of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
Also, yeah, so how does that make sense when fucking China's pollution is fucking horrible? It's probably the shit that we eat here. Because China
and the shit that they don't give us to help.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because China's, for the most part, a lot of people there do Eastern, because they do have Western medicine, they do have drugs and shit. But,
right.
For so long they've, and they hate Western anything. So most people err on the side of Eastern medicine.
I mean, I can see why. Like, I don't know why people I don't like fuck it, I'll say this. I don't like the Americans that are like, oh, we're the best because we just are. Like, in reality, you have to I feel like we should all be working together for the same thing, if that makes sense, because then we would be getting it done so much faster. We wouldn't be like you said, with the whole statistic of per capita differencing between China and us. But
yeah, well,
sorry, that was confusing, but
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention also, there is no fucking country in the rest of the world, as far as I know, that allows surface cleaner chemicals as a preservative in cereal.
In your cereal, yeah.
Which they do here. I don't know if we talked about that on here before. Did we talk about that?
I don't think so.
Like the trisodium phosphate in
No.
literally every cereal.
It's mostly
They don't even
General
do that in
Mills,
fucking
I think.
Canada.
Yeah, no.
There's foods here that are illegal in other countries. That's a fucking massive red flag.
Have you been using that Yuka app? Did I never tell you about the Yuka app?
No.
There's an app for everyone listening. You can download it. It's called Yuka, Yuka. And it's like a barcode scanner. You can scan anything that's between cosmetics and literal food, shit that you put in your body. Put on your body and in your body, I guess. And it just rates it, and it literally gives you a scale out of 100, basically being if it's anything below 20, you basically don't want to use it because it has hazardous chemicals in it.
Mm-hmm.
It'll literally you can scan it and right away it'll show you oh, this one has BHT in it, or this one has what was the other one that it's like something in conditioners nowadays that like when you wash your hair with the conditioner and you use hot water, it'll like actually make your hair fall out more.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's like, well, people aren't showering
Well,
in cold water.
it's because that conditioner company also owns a hair loss prevention fucking something or another. You know, that's always how it is.
Yeah.
That's actually huge. Is it YUK? Yuka?
YUKA.
Yeah,
A.
sorry. That's actually huge.
You should download it. It's nice.
No, but you want to here's something, right? You know, everybody's like, "Oh, well, it's too hard to figure this shit out." It is hard, and that's just because this fucking country is in the shitter.
And they don't give you the things to need to like learn it.
Yeah, it is hard. And, you know, if you don't want to do it, don't do it, right? But just think about this for a second. Deodorant is linked to Alzheimer's because of antiperspirant. It can give you fucking Alzheimer's.
It's just crazy.
Deodorant can give you Alzheimer's. Okay, so, you know.
Well, and did you know that that's how most breast cancers actually start out too? Is because
Really?
you literally putting like harsh metals into your armpit that's right here, right next to everything. Like,
Or it's the metals, dude. You know, actually, my sister, Alex, showed me this dude, medical medium, and he talks about all these harsh metals that you have to cleanse yourself of, and that way you won't get cancer. I don't know how much it's studied or something, but he's had a lot of success with people he's treated with cancer. I forget his name, but his biggest thing is metals, and metals are usually what cause Alzheimer's.
yeah.
And yeah, that's crazy with breast cancer. All I'm saying, the only reason I brought that up is if deodorant is linked to Alzheimer's, there's plenty of other shit linked to other fucking, you know, life-altering diseases.
That we don't know that we're doing. Yeah.
Not only life-altering, but life-ending in a lot of cases.
No, basically, I just would like to say that I do think it's pretty fucked up that like they're just like, it's like just happening, like not underneath our eyes because it's like there for us to see, but we don't know it most of the time.
Yeah, and well, I mean, it's just so hard to avoid it, anyways.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Even with the app, like I'll go into the cereal aisle at Smith's, and the only two that I usually get is Chex cereal, the chocolate one, because it actually rates good. And then what else do I get? The cinnamon Life, because it rates good. But I've heard things about Life, but whatever. But like,
real quick,
you literally every other cereal you scan, it's gonna say negative, shitty for you. But go ahead.
it's ironic.
It is pretty ironic, yeah.
With, you know, but I'm not also the one with cancer. I keep telling my mom that because I'll eat some shit that I'm like, you shouldn't eat this. She's like, that's a double standard. And I'm like, yeah, maybe, you know what? Maybe I should make more of an effort to.
Does she throw it? Oh, okay. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. She's like, that's a double standard. I'm like, I'm not the one who has cancer. Also, I don't really care if I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if I get it at like 50 or something, I'm like, yeah. Unless I'm rich. And then at that, you know, if you're rich enough, that's another thing. I just keep going on.
That's fine. That's what we do in here, yeah.
Isn't it funny how there's very few or almost no fucking, I don't know, old ass motherfuckers in government positions that get cancer or die from it? Celebrities too.
Right.
Isn't that funny? You know, with all these other conspiracy theories, it's just kind of weird how it's fairly rare to see a celebrity who, first of all, gets cancer, and it's even rarer to see them die from it.
Right, because, yeah. No, yeah.
And, you know, senators, House of Representatives.
Because they know something we don't. Or, like, they're, like, in on something we aren't. Yeah.
Here's a good example. Trump with the COVID thing, and he was trying to tell us I don't remember what it was. And for some reason, he had COVID, did this shit. It was like some sort of a drug, was better within days, but it's still not something that we can just go get.
Or like all of us can do. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was praising it right in front of our fucking faces, and somehow they're just getting away with the fact that, hey, we're not going to give this to anybody else.
Right.
What was it? I don't remember what it was. See, yeah, but what was my point earlier? I don't remember. I always just go on random tangents.
I don't know. We've been diving in.
Oh, yeah. No, I just wanted to mention I wouldn't wish Alzheimer's or dementia on my fucking worst enemy. So please don't use antiperspirants if you can avoid it. I don't want to get that. I told my family and my friends, I don't know if I told you, if I ever get Alzheimer's or it gets so bad to the point that I don't remember who you are by name, literally kill me.
Well, there's no point. Yeah.
Literally kill me. Yeah.
You're just in this world.
No offense to anybody.
You're just in this world by yourself. Like
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, and if you got a family member or something that can, props to them, because if I get it, kill me.
Yeah.
Or give me a gun and I'll do it myself.
Which is, yeah.
As depressing as that is, I don't want to deal with that.
I wouldn't want to either. Yeah, that's fucked for sure.
You know, because like, you know, people have Alzheimer's and they're still pretty functional. They remember people and stuff. They just forget a lot of things, like memories and stuff. And I would be fine with that. But the moment I start forgetting close friends, family member names,
people you've known your whole life,
end it then and there.
Yeah.
For real. Like, that's so fucked up. And to get it from deodorant, like, there's a pretty strong link between the two. To get that from deodorant, I'd rather smell like shit. But there's also other options. So
yeah.
Because it's like aluminum or some shit, and you're just putting it in your pores. It goes into your bloodstream.
Right next to, shit. Like, literally your heart.
Your heart, yeah.
No, yeah. That's what I've been, like, trying to tell my mom, too. Like, I've been trying to, like, like, kind of get her on the same train that I'm on. But
it's
like,
hard.
But it's
hard.
But, like,
sure.
I feel like sometimes they, like, look at you and they're like, whoa, you're being a freak right now. But I'm like, in reality, I'm not.
It sounds kind of crackpot.
It does sound crazy, but I'm not. I promise. Like,
I mean, dude, like, all of the proof you need is in cereal marketed towards children. There's trisodium phosphate, which is like the level of like Windex surface cleaner.
Yeah.
And they use it as a preservative. It's like, there's plenty of natural preservatives. It's probably just too expensive for this company.
Right. They're probably making it with like
cutting costs or some shit.
Less than pennies, yeah.
That's all the proof you need. Really, I mean, it should be, but you know, there's plenty of fucking shit with poison in it. Whether they're purposefully poisoning us or it's cutting costs for stock prices or whatever. I don't know that part of it, but I do know that there's shit in food, so.
Way too much that there needs to be, because, like, that's what I was going to say way earlier on in the podcast. Like, people that, like, come to the U.S. from, like, other countries or whatnot, and then they're, like, always, like I've heard this one person be like, well, I came to the U.S. and I started showering, and, like, I was, like, itchy after my shower. Like, why is that a thing? Like, why am I itchy after I'm showering? And then, like, there's another thing where I saw this, and you can go to, like, stores in other countries. I don't remember what country exactly it was that I saw this in. But you can go to stores, and they, like, will literally freshly squeeze you juice that you want to buy. So you're not buying, like, Ocean Spray or, like, Welch's or, like, whatever the fuck. Like, no, they're freshly squeezing it in front of you. You're seeing what you're drinking. You're seeing what you're getting. And obviously it doesn't have any, shit that they're fucking with in it, you know?
You know what's funny? This just kind of reminded me. Vitamin C, if you look at it, do you have any over here?
I probably do.
I've seen some stuff. Whatever. I don't need to get it. But
yeah.
If you look at it and you look at the ingredients, nowhere does it say vitamin C. It says ascorbic acid. That's not vitamin C. It's literally just like a manufactured version of vitamin C.
So it doesn't do what vitamin C does, is what you're saying?
I mean, it does in a way, but it does other shit. And according to the medical medium dude that my sister was telling me, he said that if you have a tumorous cancer, do not take man-made vitamin C. Get your vitamin C from an orange.
Like natural shit.
Yeah.
Probably because it's...
What he says is that he says that the ascorbic acid can create sort of a protective layer over your tumor, and it makes it harder for whatever you're taking to get in and fight it.
So it's literally like you, another thing like you were saying about the cereal, like it's literally in front of your eyes. Like,
see, that's another thing where I'm not 100% sure on the science of it or anything, so I don't want to say for sure, but this is what he's saying, and he's pretty fucking smart. He knows a lot of things. He's also one of the people that a lot of people are like, oh, he's crazy or whatever. But if you look back at some of his old claims that were considered crazy, most of them actually, in his case,
they turn out to be true in the long run.
They turn out to be true. Most of his claims have turned out to be true.
Is it? What is he like on? Is he on social media or
Yeah,
like
he has a podcast. It's called the Medical Medium Podcast.
comedian? I'll have to remember that.
He's got like remedies for a whole bunch of shit, a whole bunch of different cancers. He tells stories about people he knows and everything. Um, but yeah, just crazy shit. Oh, I just remembered something I was gonna say earlier.
Shoot it.
So have you ever listened to or heard of like the Coca-Cola whistleblower or whatever?
I
It
don't
was a
think
guy that was a
so.
pretty high up position at Coke.
I don't think so. What? What about it?
He did a video, and it's pretty cryptic because it's a pretty fucking big deal. Um, one of the if he was to just come flat out and say something, it could be one of those unalived himself situations, quote unquote. Um, but he was talking about how there was meetings with Coca-Cola, FDA, CDC, pharmaceutical companies.
Like way back when?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was let in on one of these meetings, and one of the topics, which he got kicked out before, was just added sugars, and he was under the impression that they were negotiating with the FDA on upping the allowed amount of added sugars for children, and there was a pretty big pharmaceutical company, and I don't know if he named it, that was in on this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of connecting the dots, he figured that there was some sort of a collusion between Coca-Cola, the FDA, and the pharmaceutical company, where the pharmaceutical company and Coca-Cola were trying to convince the FDA to up the amount of added sugars because that would also up the amount of children with diabetes. Because, diabetes is one of the most profitable,
Right.
insulin, shit like that.
Yeah.
One of the most profitable for pharmaceutical companies. He did a video about it. It's pretty interesting. If you search up, like, Coca-Cola whistleblower, it'll probably just bring him up. But
Well, there you go. Your government cares about your kids.
then again, this is all allegedly because he wasn't able to be fully a part of this meeting, but he knew that there was representatives from the FDA and this pharmaceutical company and other people too.
Right.
But which in and of itself is pretty damning evidence. Like, why would a pharmaceutical company need to talk to Coca-Cola?
It's basically the same thing as the trisodium phosphate in cereal for
Mhm.
for kids. Well, tricks are for kids. Or what? Not tricks. Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck no. Obviously they are because you're trying to poison us. But yeah, go ahead.
Diabetes, cancer, top two money makers for pharmacies.
Yeah.
So I'm sure if they can work something out to the tune of not killing too many people, but keeping them sick for their entire lives so they're making money. That's why diabetes is so cool for pharmaceutical companies, because they can treat it. They can't get rid of it, which if you think about it, it's like it's a blood sugar imbalance or something like that, and it can fuck with, the functions of some of your organs. Feels like something that could be pretty easily fixed.
Yeah. If they know how to fuck it up. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Like you don't know how to break something unless you put it together. If that makes sense. Like
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's just weird that it's like something that's like, yeah, you can live with diabetes your whole life and have no complications as long as you're paying for this fucking expensive
right.
shit your whole life. That's kind of crazy. Like, okay, so this can, I don't know, keep it in check, but you can't get rid of the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like this thing that you take, you can take it your entire life,
Yeah.
but you can't get rid of it.
They're just they're making their money in the longevity of it.
It's a profit
Yeah.
thing for sure.
Yeah.
It's just also, oh yeah, there was a video. I don't know again at the science of this one, but there was a guy talking about claiming that diabetes. There's type 1 and type 2. Type 2 is the one that you get. Type 1 is the one you're born with. He's claiming that type 1 isn't one that you're born with. It was made at one point in a way, like sort of manufactured in a way that alters genes that then made it hereditary.
Oh,
So at
wow.
one point, someone got it like
I see what
as
you're
type
saying.
2 diabetes,
Yeah.
and then it became hereditary after that point.
That's kind of crazy.
Which,
Well,
if
because if
that
you think about
was,
it, how really else would it be hereditary though?
yeah, I mean, someone had to get it at some point.
Right.
But the part where he takes it a step further was that it was manufactured into food in a certain way that altered genes to make it hereditary.
I see what you're saying.
You
Yeah.
know,
So like, say the trisodium phosphate in the cereal was that,
yeah,
they'd be serving us that to do that. Yeah.
exactly. So it was like, he took it a step further there because obviously it happens at some point, whether it's like a random mutation or whatever. But I don't know.
I mean,
I
honest.
mean, and if you think about it, it's like if they could do that, you were damn sure they're gonna make sure they can do that. Like if a baby's born, that's money for decades.
Yeah.
Who could pass that up as a businessman?
Yeah. Just knowing that you're gonna have money come flowing in for the next however long they're alive for. Yeah.
Well, yeah, think about it. Like think about it in this way. You have something you really don't have to work at very much. It comes into the world and just consistently makes you money for longer than you live. Why would you pass that up?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're talking about lives here, so you should not do that, obviously.
Well, it's completely like not off topic because we have been talking about this kind of, but like I'm trying to think of like how to put this, but like do you know like how like you've heard like oh fucking not South Korea, North Korea doesn't allow anyone like there that's not of North Korean like not
yeah, closed borders.
right. And I don't know if this is true or not either, but I've heard that like it's basically not that. It's basically like our government telling us that so that we don't want to go over there.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about. I know Dennis Rodman has said some shit to that
Yeah.
extent.
Well, and in
I
reality,
mean, like China, people from China can go there all the time. People,
right? Why? So yeah, why wouldn't we be able to? Yeah.
South Korea and North Korea have beef because we're like allies with South Korea. So
You know that like everyone, like people that flee from North Korea and go into South Korea are like automatically gain like citizenship of South Korea
yeah,
because they like claim the whole like peninsula or whatever, which is I like that's cool like completely because like people that need to get out of North Korea obviously are gonna go to South Korea. Like they're
Right.
not gonna swim or do whatever, but yeah.
Or either that or Russia. Why would the fuck would you want to go to Russia?
Yeah.
Or
Just have a.
is it Russia or is it Mongolia? I don't know. One of the two borders.
It's
North
right
Korea.
around there. Yeah.
Might be China even. I don't know.
It's right around there.
But yeah, no. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Like we were talking about with Eastern medicine before, it seems to be way better at healing people than Western medicine. Because Western medicine, it's always a lot of it, even aside from cancer, is yeah, you can take this and you won't really have problems. It's not fixing it; it's just making it not an issue.
Yeah. It's putting a band-aid over it. Yeah.
We want to fix the fucking problem.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to take this drug. Because
And
with
that's
drugs,
their money scheme of it, like you said.
Yeah.
They're fixing it to get their money. It's not like they're solving it, or else they wouldn't. Like, yeah, they probably still make money, but it wouldn't be obviously like as much as they're making now.
Well, and even things that are like kind of cures, like think about vaccines. Well, you think, oh, I don't have to pay for a vaccine. It's probably because of your insurance. Your insurance is paying the pharmacy.
And then the people that get the vaccine more or so likely more like get COVID than the people who don't. I don't know. That was just my view of it.
Also
but-
think about is like everybody as a kid has to get like smallpox,
right.
TB, a whole bunch of shit. Vaccines for that. It's like mandatory as if you're a dog, where you have to get shots for worms and shit. It's kind of weird.
No, it is weird, yeah. But then the COVID one wasn't mandatory. Like, how come that one's not mandatory?
They tried, and then people got pissed.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, in the scheme of it, like, oh, the flu shot's healthy and good for you, like, or not healthy.
Bro,
but,
I haven't gotten a flu shot in 5 years. Haven't gotten the flu.
And look what we're doing. We're still fine, yeah. We're still kicking it. It's just, I don't know. I feel like a lot of it's just they're just scheming us, bro.
Yeah, it's fucking Zach leaves, and it's all just cynical medical industry shit.
Yeah, Zach really does bring a lot of positivity to the podcast.
Yeah. Even though sometimes he's like really random and almost pointless.
Yeah.
Like the fucking Pink Lemonade,
Oh,
Shelby
yeah.
loving Pink Lemonade. I was like, hey, this is funny to us. No one else is gonna give a shit.
Yeah.
Um, no, yeah, he keeps it not depressing at least a little bit.
Well, he has his. I don't know. I feel like he just has like that random like like when we did when we did our podcast just being him because you were out for the week.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking like we just talked about video games the whole time.
Yeah,
Like I basically like I think he just has so much that he wants to talk about and wants to just like
that
genuinely
isn't complaining.
right. That's not
Yeah.
like bad or like so shouts out to him. But
Yeah, I mean, I probably have plenty to talk about that's not complaining, but life's pretty miserable right now. So it's a lot
not
of
even right now. I
complaining.
feel like it's just like inherently like a lot of people go through things, but like you were saying earlier, it's your mindset for sure. Like it's the way you put yourself into it and throw yourself into it. Just be positive about it,
Yeah,
Don't.
no. See, and I've been good with that, like with my mom's cancer, but as far as everything else, I've had a hard fucking time for some reason.
And it's probably because you're putting in so much like effort into that
Yeah.
to where everything else is pissing you off. And
I mean, like, I've fully convinced myself at this point, and then everything else, I'm like, I fucking hate it here.
right.
One thing I do want to mention, though, this might go a little long if you're fine with that.
I don't care. Yeah.
Because I was talking to my sister about this. Because this is an interesting topic, and it's completely, I mean, I guess it's kind of connected to what we were talking about. But so we did a paper on it in senior year of high school, and I don't remember which one you did. I think you did neutral, because it was the easiest. But genuinely, do you believe that man is inherently evil, neutral, or good? I love having this conversation. I just want to hear what you think first.
Ask the question again. Say it again.
Is man inherently evil, neutral, meaning like...
And you're asking everyone. No.
Yeah.
When you're
just,
saying,
you're born without guidance. Would you be an evil
right.
person or a good person, or does it depend on how you're brought up, whatever?
I'd probably go as far as to say like good. Cause like I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably make the argument as to good because it's like the rules that are set in place for you to follow depending on what government you're run by or like like just things that you have to do like randomly getting like called to serve for your military or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's kind of what makes your mind be like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm not the one in full control of like my destiny and my like what I want to do." So I feel like that's what kind of like spins your head to be like, I need to think for myself. And then some people think of that as being evil, even when in reality it's like, well, I'm like looking out for myself. I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
I feel like I would go as far as to say good because I feel like if we were all just put on this earth and like money just was like somehow not a thing, like there was just something different, like currency just wasn't like a thing,
Just
like
barter.
we were all just pickers and gatherers.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe not because
There was pillaging and stuff back then too.
I was gonna say maybe not because then that like they had to like kill for food, so like there obviously was like some like tendency, you know what I mean? I don't know, but
I don't know. It's really good. It's a really good outlook to say that man is inherently good. I just can't believe it.
really,
Personally, yeah. And it just might be me in my own head, like debating myself because I do that shit because I'm a crazy person. But let me explain to you why, right? I think man is inherently evil. First of all, because everybody, whether you want to admit this to yourself or not, everybody is at least inherently selfish.
oh for sure, yeah,
Everybody's looking out for themselves. And in almost every case, that's by any means necessary. But what makes it hard and what makes people, not think that people are psychotic is, I think, a lot to do with religion and laws. Because you're looking out for yourself. And if you think about back in the day, like you were talking, where people would just kill for food and stuff like that, or just for whatever the fuck reason, just to have a big empire or whatever. The only difference between that and now is you're looking out for yourself and you're like, I would kill, this is metaphorically, but it goes, I would kill for $1 million. A lot of people probably would, but then you're also thinking you're still looking out for yourself in the sense of if I do kill for $1 million, who cares because I'm in prison now.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think
every single decision you make, it's made like from who you like, what you not. I'm trying to like what you see yourself to be, or like what you don't want to like get repercussions for. Or, like you make your decisions like we were talking about earlier, from your like standpoint. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everybody's so interconnected. There's laws, there's social, moral, ethical. You're looking out for yourself. You want people to have a high image of you, but you also want all these things. If you were to think of, if I could kill, for instance, Jeff Bezos, inherit all of his money, and not go to prison, almost everybody would take that chance. If there was no thought of retaliation on his end, you can just go shoot him in the head. Simple as that. You have his money.
Yeah.
You don't go to prison. You'd be lying to yourself if you said you wouldn't take that opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so stuff like that.
That just seems too easy. Yeah.
Well, and also think of, and this is what I was talking about with my sister. Everybody, again, and this is the tough part, is a lot of people will just lie. You know what I'm saying? Also inherently selfish. They want to look like a better person. Everybody's had an intrusive thought that has crossed their mind probably multiple times in a year where they're like, that is insanely fucked up to think about. Like, for instance, ramming your car into a whole bunch of people.
Right.
That's crossed someone's mind before. It's crossed probably everybody's mind at one point.
It turns into a game. You know how like people are like, oh, 10 points if I hit this fucking grandma.
That is an intrusive thought.
Yeah.
And when you think of it, you're like, that's evil. That's horrible. Why are you thinking it? And I think it's just because we're inherently evil.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason that it's not happening constantly, and it still happens a lot, like just horrible shit, is because there's things set in place that keep you from doing random shit that's just horrible. Because that way you would be in prison and you can't do fun shit or whatever fucked up thing crosses your mind.
Freedom. Yeah.
Yeah. You sacrifice your freedom for... and like you think about it, like all you go back in history, all these people that did horrible shit. Genghis Khan, he was expanding his empire, but for some reason felt the need when he took over the place to rape a whole bunch of people
by expanding his empire.
All he could have done was taken over the area, and they didn't even really have to kill people. All they would have to do is occupy it. If someone retaliated, then kill him.
Yeah.
Think about it. They just went in there, killed people, and they're like, let's rape them while we're at it.
And yeah.
It's just, yeah, I'm not going to keep going because I could go on forever, but.
See, I do feel like there is more probably to your side. Like, there is probably a lot more
There's
evidence.
a lot of evidence behind it.
Yeah. But then again, you don't want to, like, count, at least I don't want to count, like, the goodness of humanity, even though I know we just, like, aren't good. I just don't want to count it out because, like, I know somewhere I have, like, that, like, okay, well, I obviously wouldn't ran over a grandma for 10 fucking points. Just stupid shit.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know, like, there are people that do flip that switch and they can do that random thing that's going to get them fucked up forever. So.
Well, and part of my argument is even the fact that we have the ability to have that thought cross our mind in the first place is kind of evil in and of itself. Because when it crosses my mind, I feel fucking horrible about it after, but it's like, well, you know.
But in the moment, you kind of like, not like scheme to do it, but you're like, if I did it, I probably wouldn't be in that much trouble.
Sometimes you go so far as to like, maybe I could get away with it and think about how you would hide and whatever.
Yeah. Just plot out your whole thing.
Which is crazy and it's evil. But it's like, is the only thing keeping me from just doing that the fact that there's social standards to uphold and there's jail time to avoid and all these other things?
I guess so, yeah.
And there's no way we know that. We would be able to figure that out unless we just completely went into anarchy. You know?
That's a good point, actually.
Think about this.
That's a good point.
And people always like to play the race shit with this. I think it's just everybody's fucked in the head. When there's riots, they just fucking steal shit. People get trampled to just go get a fucking TV because there's an excuse to without getting arrested.
Right.
It's a bad thing to do.
Like the LA riots?
Yeah, it's an objectively bad thing to do. it, in the heat of the moment and whatever's going on, people are like, yeah, well, it's not as bad as what we were rioting for. But then if you think about it this way, okay, this guy, if he just went in there, trampled someone, stole a TV, you'd be like, that's a horrible person. But just because it was a mob mentality and
Everyone was doing it.
Retaliation,
Right. Yeah.
it's not such a bad thing. It's still a bad thing, objectively.
Still a bad thing, but you feel okay of doing it because everyone's doing it. Yeah.
That's my whole argument. I could keep going. I could keep bringing up shit, but that's why I think man's inherently evil. And that doesn't mean like I think this guy, given the chance, would fucking shoot me in the head just to take my money. But, you got to keep your guard up a little bit.
Well, and it's like, well, if I have these like thoughts of like random, like the random one we were saying earlier, like how come, like obviously like my ancestors had those thoughts when they needed them, or like when they like were like out doing the fucking like sticks and stone shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like obviously, like it's been a thing. I feel so. I agree with you probably more than I agree with my state of like my argument, but
it's more of a positivity thing, huh?
Right. Yeah. But I'm not gonna like sit here and be like, no, we're all shitty. But
it's fair, and I completely understand it. One thing that was a good point, because I'm not religious, but I saw this TikTok video where a guy was talking about bishops and presidents of whatever high-ranking people, even the Pope in the church. He said, you shouldn't follow them blindly. You should only follow God, because this person is a man just like you and has had the same lustful, greedy, whatever, sinful thoughts as you. They're not perfect and they're not God. So, yes, you should listen to their teachings and stuff.
yeah.
And then it got me thinking, it's like, there's some people, you've heard stories of this, there's some people that are like, their family members talk about them and they go, oh, they were just like the greatest person. They donated, they did this, they did that. Here's a good example. School teachers that have had sex with children. Objectively, you think of a school teacher like they're a great person. They're teaching the kids. But some of these people are doing it so that they can have sex with children.
So that they can look at them like that. Yeah.
And you talk to them, they seem like a great person. Even when you talk to them, you're like, wow, that's a really good person. Go and fucking do some heinous shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You just never know. And I think
that's true, yeah.
I think it's just a division between people that keep their intrusive thoughts under control, and people
like some
that
of them
don't.
that want to like live them out.
Yeah, some people that indulge in them and really start thinking about it too much, and then it comes up more often. And they think about it more,
and then they're like, "Oh, I could do that." Yeah.
And then they do it.
Yeah.
I think that's really what it comes down to. I think the intrusive thoughts in and of themselves prove to me that people are evil.
Well, and intrusive thoughts are
evil.
Are evil, yeah, but like they could like that's also kind of like the gateway to doing the intrusive thought.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you indulge in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what separates a regular person from a serial killer. Is their control over their own thoughts.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that a serial killer doesn't have control over their own thoughts, but
just that, or like
they might find it too enticing when the thought crosses their head, and then they
to not do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's crazy. It's a crazy conversation. I do find it interesting, and I'm not just like depressed all the time. I'm like thinking you're a fucking horrible person. You're not a horrible person until you do something bad, but everybody has had a horrible thought cross their mind, and it's just a difference of controlling it or not. That's what it comes down to.
Has everyone done something horrible before?
I'm sure there's things that people have done that, they're not like evil per se.
Horrible, but like...
Yeah.
Like you said, they've done something that's been selfish to the point where it looks like they're being like...
Yeah.
I guess like
I'm trying to think of an example of maybe something that I've done that may have started as a bad thought, and I was just like, well, the cons here aren't that bad, and maybe the pros will turn out the way I'm thinking they will, but I'm...
Cheating off a test. Even though like there was no serious like repercussion for that, like I didn't go.
But that's integrity,
right?
Yeah,
yeah.
And I just cheated my way through high school. Yeah, I can't really think anything, but
fucking junior year, I could say that.
Oh yeah,
junior year was definitely the hardest for me. Like senior year wasn't bad at all, except for this. I got thrown into a fucking freshman year math class
Yeah.
because I fell off the roof senior year, so I like had to get that math class, or freshman year, so I had to get that math class done. Freshman year is easy, but junior year, yeah, no, like I honestly wouldn't like. I'd go up to anyone and be like, "Oh, you passed high school, so you cheated a little bit." Like everyone cheated during high school. No, like
aside from the fucking,
yeah.
the type.
Well, yeah, but
Um,
no, cause like, but even they cheated off their homies. Like they probably
maybe.
didn't know a
At
question.
least once.
Yeah.
Right. One thing I want to bring up too, if you were to go strictly off of almost any religion's moral, I don't know, staples and whatever gets you into heaven, every single fucking person in the world is evil or was evil at one point in their life. I think the only people that are the closest to being divine are like Buddhist monks, because they actually are super dedicated to that shit, and they can't continue to be a monk unless they fully follow it. But like, think about it, like greed, lust, like 7 deadly sins: greed, lust, sloth, whatever, pride. Everybody's fucking prideful.
Yeah.
And so if that's considered evil and it'll damn you to hell, then everybody's evil.
Right. Which like how is that? How's pride? Yeah, I don't understand that one.
Yeah. So if you're religious and you claim that man is inherently good, you're just straight up fucking wrong. I'm not, and I still think that. But if you're religious, you're just straight up wrong. There is not a fucking child in the world that hasn't lied.
Yeah. That's true.
You know, you can't be religious and say, yeah, man is inherently good. The whole point of religion is to make you a good person, make you before you die, so that you can be in heaven or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you believe in after.
At least for most religions, yeah.
You know, like I think it's Hinduism. You want to be a good person, so you're reincarnated in a better life.
Right.
More money, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll stop so we can end it, because I could keep talking, but we're already like 16 minutes over.
I mean, we've been going. It doesn't even really feel like we've been sitting here for an hour and 15 minutes, to be honest.
When you really get on a roll of some of this shit, like the whole medical shit and everything,
like stuff that you actually like kind of want to like dive into and like you kind of care about.
For.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally, you'd kill for.
Also, if I ever unalive myself, I didn't. I don't think I'm, a high, what's the word? High profile person enough to unalive myself. But if I ever did become to that point and they're like, oh, he, whatever, I didn't.
You would never?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I don't think I could ever really do it either. There's got to be like, you got to have that like dog in you to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's a tough decision to make.
Yeah. Holy shit. I don't think, I'm standing with you. I don't think I could ever do that. Because it's not even about like me, like, oh, I couldn't do it because of how bad I feel about myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I have too many people around me that I know care about me, that I know I care about. I don't want to like,
yeah.
I know how death is too. I don't want to like put them through something that they're going to have to.
It's a shitty thing to deal with.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my, yeah.
No, yeah, and Wendigoon, he's a YouTuber that me and Zach have talked about a couple times. He does conspiracy theories. Whenever he brings up a dodgy one or one that's about like the government or something, he always does like a disclaimer or something to kind of not be a target, and then he'll always say, also, if I unalived myself, no, I didn't.
Just at the end of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because it's been too many times where like people have like said that, and then they end up dying. Matthew Perry, they drowned it in a hot tub.
Yeah.
Who
post
actually
a picture in the
hot tub the
that
night
day?
before?
Yeah.
The night before. Like, who kills himself in a hot tub? I don't understand. Or unalives
That is
himself.
the worst way to die, is to drown yourself.
Yeah,
it's
no.
like one of the worst.
Like, if anything, you're gonna be in that water. That's the only point in time that you're gonna be relaxing for yourself.
Unless you're taking sleeping pills to the point where you pass out. I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
But then you don't even have to do that in a fucking hot tub. You could just do that until just down a whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
You're dead. You fall asleep and you're
no,
dead.
that Matthew Perry one, I 100% do not think he was like. That's my personal opinion. I don't think he had anything to do with his own death, unless it was like something he did to obviously piss off whoever targeted him. But I don't think he killed himself personally or unalived himself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could say kill yourself, I guess. I just didn't want to say the other one because that one's usually a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, also to the viewers and the listeners, I'm not crazy. This is just what happens when I have too much time and I look at a whole bunch of fucking conspiracy theories and stuff.
It's about shit that you were going
Yeah,
going
most of
through
the podcast
and you care about.
is things I care about, and I've done a lot of research on it.
Because that's one thing I've noticed with you. Like, you don't really dive into something unless you genuinely want to know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Same with when we went to school. I mean, that shit was just ass. But obviously, when you just get handed something, you're you have to do it. But you're not oh, I'm gonna learn this because there's that different thing in your brain where it's I'm actually wanting to learn this, so I'm gonna remember it.
Well, yeah, in Hanson's class, there were certain things that we were actually really interested in.
Yeah, and it's even some in Miss Rogers. She taught pretty good, but yeah. But let's just kind of come back down to our baseline and just say what you were saying earlier. I'm glad that we talked about what we did today, and I'm glad that
sorry, it's kind of like an information overload and very different from our regular podcast. But
information overload, situation lost control. You know what song that is?
No.
It's the fucking.
Is it Beck?
It's the Vegas song by Katy Perry.
Oh.
That's what you get for waking up in Vegas.
Yeah. Now I know it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Yeah. Either one.
Yeah, sorry I got distracted there again.
First one without Zach. Let's beat I Want to Go Gambling Bad Dude to prove a point.
Bullshit. Mine and Zach's episode was great.
No, I want this one to win, obviously, because I wasn't in the other one.
I see what you're saying. But yeah.
No, it was good. But I want this one to win.
Yeah. 100%.
Not saying it was bad, but let's make this one better.
This one's better.
I don't think it will be. Honestly, I think this one will be worse just because it's so much. It's way far off of what we normally do on this.
It's kind of actually listening to something that we genuinely kind of actually dove into this week.
Which is weird.
Most weeks we usually kind of just have random funny things we like to talk about and keep it the same. But this week was kind of we didn't have anything specifically to talk about in this one, so we kind of just dove right into what we wanted, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it also didn't help the subject matter of the conversation we were having beforehand. It was another family thing, passionate discussion a little bit. So it kind of led into that. But we'll actually end it now because we already said bye 3 fucking times. Yeah. Thank you for watching and listening.
I mean, we'll see you guys next week.